Want more hearing loss live? Check out our members only packages and work on your lip reading communication skills today. Good morning and welcome to Hearing Loss Live. Remember, we'd like you to subscribe, like, and share our material. We have changed some things up. So if you want more content, you're going to have to join our members only page or come to one of our classes. We have many that roll around about every 6 to 8 weeks. So join us at our members only page. We, this last month, have been talking about tools. And so actually, Christine Cubelo found us, and it was great to have her find us. I'm going to have her introduce more about her auditory training program. It's been super cool. If you were able to join us for our Let's Talk, you got to meet her there and learn more about her program. But for those of you who can't join us, we thought we'd cut this short podcast. We also have 2 blogs. So go to hearinglosslive.com and check her out there too. Christine is super cool. And with her hearing loss and tinnitus, she has found I'll let her introduce herself. See, I'm already rambling and we're only like 2 minutes into this, right? I'll let her introduce herself, but she has a great auditory training program. One of the things Shelley and I push a lot, hearing aids are not the be all end all of everything. You've got a whole lot of stuff that comes behind hearing aids and cochlear implants that you need to have help with. And tools are a big thing in your box. That's why we are all about the tools and how to have better lip reading outcomes and communications. So when Christine talked to us about her auditory training program, wow, fit right in. We want to help her grow that audience, help you learn how to have better hearing with what you have left. Now I'm going to shut my mouth and I'm going to turn it over to Christine, but I might pop in with a question or two. Christine, take it away.
Thank you so much for having me. And I don't even remember exactly how I found you, although I was looking for some lip reading classes for my own clients. And I think that's when I thought, wow, I wonder if these guys might decide that they would like the idea of adding this extra tool to their things that they offer to their readers and their audience. So thank you again for just having open-mindedness to this, and not just open-mindedness, but also recognizing the value of this information. It's almost an uphill battle in some ways. So first I'll start off by saying, who am I? And explain why this is a little bit of an uphill battle. So I'm a board certified hearing instrument specialist. I've been a practicing hearing aid dispenser since 2018. And I started out as a little baby audiology assistant back in 2013, just been kind of working my way up over the years. Totally by accident, as a matter of fact. I didn't dream of doing this as a kid, but it has been a blessing because I've learned about myself, and my own clients have helped me become a better provider. And throughout this whole time of realizing, trying to make the best promises possible for people about how much better having hearing aids in their life is going to make their life so much better, I get a little bit of guilt sometimes because and the sort of salesy side of the job, we are taught to help the person imagine how much better their life can be with hearing aids versus continuing on with untreated hearing loss. And while there's definitely a big part of truth to that, there's also another big ingredient that's missing. And that's why it's kind of an uphill battle, because there are folks out there that do so much heavy marketing on just hearing aids alone that kind of takes the front of a lot of people's attention. And we forget that, unlike glasses, which I'm sure an ophthalmologist would be happy to jump in and correct me on their perspective on this, but a lot of us think of glasses as you put it on and you can see, generally speaking. Hearing aids is not quite like that. You can't just put them on and you can hear. There's a lot of stuff happening inside our head to help process what we're hearing. And all the hearing aid is doing is enhancing the incoming sound based upon the levels we see on your audiogram. But what is happening up here? our brain is responsible for processing and understanding what you're hearing. So what can happen is folks come in, a few weeks in, my spouse is still getting frustrated because they thought once I had hearing aids, they could talk to me while doing the dishes. They could talk to me from across the room. They could talk to me from upstairs or downstairs. And when I'm at work and we're at meetings, I thought I was going to hear everybody saying everything at the meeting, but I realized I just hear everything all too much and still can't hear anything. These I hear a lot. And the other side that makes us an uphill battle is insurance. And there's only so many of people like me, audiologists included, and so many clients. And sometimes we are limited by how closely we can make everything customized for you and help strategize. And a lot of times, even in my own schedule, when you're coming in for a follow-up, I have 30 minutes to go over stuff. So a lot of times providers will focus that 30 minutes or maybe an hour on the essentials, how to wear your hearing aids, how to keep them clean, how often to wear them, how to recharge them if they're rechargeable, how to change the batteries if they're battery operated, how connecting it to your cell phone and using the app that comes with the hearing aid. That easily takes up that whole entire appointment slot. Then we have no choice but to move on to the next person. And there's so much more I would love to be able to put in, but sometimes at the end of the day, business is business. And if whatever's billable is going to be the thing that keeps the lights on in our clinic, I have to move on to the next thing that's billable. And that's the downside to all of this. So the other half of all this, aside from teaching you how to use your hearing aids and all those other things, is what else do I need to be doing to help reduce some of those other frustrations of why can't they still hear me perfectly? Why can't I still hear them perfectly? Those kinds of things. So, I put together this class based upon all of the things I've procured over time of all of the ways we can break this down into a structured way of saying, how do we rebuild that solid foundation so that you can build up from there and start to process better? And interestingly, as I've been researching different programs, yes, there are some free versions out there, but the downside to it sometimes is a lot of the free programs either rely on you having a really good computer connection and doing the program on your own. You don't have anybody coaching you through things. There are some programs, which I just recently learned about, which is supposed to be really, really good. It's a computer-generated program that adapts itself to your skill levels. You can only use their program if a provider that's a partner with them refers you to them. You can't just sign up on your own. That to me feels like gatekeeping. I'm not going to have this program set up so that you have to get some special referral in order for me to help you. I want anybody, including your family members who aren't necessarily the ones with hearing loss, to also sign up, because communication is a two-way street and we need everybody on both sides to understand how to help things go more smoothly. So altogether, it's 8 weeks worth of specific strategy talks, and then another 2 weeks on what else can we do in addition to the strategies, because sometimes hearing aids alone are not enough. And I will teach you about what else is out there.
So, wow. Yeah, there are several thoughts in my head that came to me while I was talking. And one is that I started wearing hearing aids, I think in 1992. This was analog. And it was in a salon. And it was just god awful noise. I'll be honest. When the digitals came out, I was amazed. But I remember asking my older clients, because here I was, mid-20s, with hearing aids, and asking the older clients, how are you doing with your hearing aids? I felt like way back then, there should be more. I'm missing something. And so I was asking all my hearing aid clients what they thought, but you don't know what you don't know. And right. They couldn't tell me anything either. And most of the time, well, I do okay. And I'd get that answer a lot, so I quit asking. I spent 17 years with hearing aids, not knowing how much more, how being successful with hearing loss went beyond hearing aids. And it was learning to advocate for myself and eventually lip reading. And I'm late to auditory training, but everything you have taught us, it's just made total sense. And I get it now. Julia and I have talked about hearing versus understanding. We hear a lot. But we can't always understand it. So I think that auditory training helps us with the understanding.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, the other side of it too is your sound tolerance goes down. So you're thinking, well, all I have to do is put these on and I'm going to just do great. This is going to be wonderful. It's going to enhance all just this one person's voice. But I also think of it like if you are making a pot of soup and you're putting in the chicken and the carrots and the onion and the celery, and you're imagining this soup is going to be amazing, but you were hoping to only have the celery. That's not how soup works. And that's not how hearing aids work. It's designed to help you be more aware of the world all around you. But your hearing doesn't change overnight necessarily. And you forget how much these little things that have been around you, the celery, the chicken, the carrots, you forget all of that is around you. And then you get all that back, and it can get really overwhelming too. And so we want to give you, people like me, we want to give you that night and day glamorous experience where you can say, wow, this is how much different my life can be. But we got to pace ourselves too. As much as I would love to give you the world, I also want to help you pace yourself. And oftentimes you might have the hearing aid in the very beginning and you're thinking, this feels nice and comfortable, nothing's overwhelming, but why can't I hear perfectly? And part of that is also we're putting in a couple of carrots at a time. Then after you get used to the carrots, we'll add some celery. After you get used to the celery, we'll add some more chicken. And that's kind of the point of the auditory training, is to start to kind of have a structured way to say, as my hearing aids are giving me the sound that my provider has helped program for me, and I'm doing my follow-ups with my provider, I'm also learning how to chew all these bits of information and process it.
This is where it's hearing loss live, people. We think family members are important, right? So this is where our family can, when they're involved with this, really do help. That rope memorization with the auditory processing, it gives you somebody to practice with in person, as well as, okay, start on this for this next. And then you that continue, and they know how to help practice with you, right? And it opens their eyes to, oh yeah, just sticking hearing aids on wasn't making a difference. You weren't hearing me better. You're never going to hear this sound up here now that I understand what a speech banana is. And I need to stop talking in that voice, or, be prepared to have other ways to help you hear me, as well as your retraining. And here's the thing I think people forget, and I'll go kind of technical, and I'm sorry, the dogs are being naughty today. It's nice outside. They're ready for their walk. Our brain forgets that sound. And and I may be totally off base, but everything I've learned over the years, the more you're without that sound, the more your mind forgets how to say it, pronounce it, all of that. So that's where auditory training, I think, helps as well, and should be more of a focus, whether it's a hearing aid you're putting on or a cochlear implant. And cochlear implants, Cochlear America has that whole, you pick up the phone and you listen to the words and the sentence and whatever, which is great. And they have more tools allowable under insurance, most insurances, which, makes it like why they should have it for hearing aids too, but I'll fight that battle maybe tomorrow. So being able to reach out and find services. And as far as I'm concerned, I think your services are very well priced. They include all people with that type of pricing. And I can't remember it off, but it's 100 and something. It's very, very cheap for 8 weeks of work is,
Right.
you know,
It
it's
adds up to
very
a $20
doable.
per hour.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so doable. That really is an investment in yourself. When any of these classes, and maybe you take Christine's and learn some stuff and then come over to our lip reading classes and start learning how to use these new auditory trainings to even have better outcomes with your communication. It's a win-win. We're in a place where we need to be very self-advocating, and our hearing partners need to be on that proactive trip with us. This is a great opportunity to just grow, is my opinion.
Yes. Yes,
Shelley,
absolutely.
you look like you're going to say something. No?
She knows me well. So all I wanted to say was that you can get recorded classes and you can get free things, but these are just you watch. What if you have questions? I know Julie and I tailor our classes to the students. It's almost, yeah, we have a good outline, but we allow the students to kind of lead us where they need to go and talk resources and what else, strategies, and so it can. And that's the cool thing about live classes. I got to say, is you have the teacher's attention.
Yes. And you can also have a safe person, non-judgmental person who gets it to build your confidence. You're not going to have someone that you have a history of frustration with that you know each other's buttons. You're trying to do this training program together, just the two of you, and one person doesn't say it just right, and you did the training wrong, and now you just messed everything up, and now my training is ruined. We're not going to have that when it's having a facilitated situation like this program, so that we can kind of help keep the focus, non-judgmental, and by the time you leave the sessions, you have a little bit more confidence. And on the subject of confidence, there's also the people out there who know something is changing, but they're not fully ready to admit it, or it's quote unquote not bad enough. They're not sure they're ready for hearing aids for a lot of variety of reasons. Vanity is a big one. Cost is another big one. If it's one of those two things, this kind of course is pennies on the dollar compared to the cost of hearing aids. So I'm not necessarily suggesting auditory training can be a substitute for the hearing aids in those people's cases, but it can probably help you come to a better understanding of what's happening to you, to your hearing, and maybe, just maybe, develop some healthy coping mechanisms until you are ready to take that next step.
That is a great way. We're getting ready to wrap it up, but I love that thought process, because absolutely anything you can do, short or small, and maybe you're that person who knows you need hearing aids, but you're that middle income level that really is not going to be able to afford it because your insurance doesn't cover it, and you're having to decide hearing aids or putting food on the table for my family, right? This is where this would be auditory training. It's just that one step to get you, I love it, the right coping skills until you can afford that pair of hearing aids to get to the next level. Or maybe you can only afford over-the-counter hearing aids, which may or may not come with any type of help. So this could fill in for that too, so that you can at least have some sound. I was going to say enunciated sound. You can have
something that you're not starving your ears.
Right. So you're getting that volume, but now you've added a simple, affordable class or two to help you get to the next level. Awesome.
Right.
Any more thoughts before I close this out? We good? All right. Well, we hope you reach out to Christine. We have her. Give me your email address real quick, so that those who are watching us via audio podcast habit.
Yes, so it is capital A, capital T, with Christine at gmail.com.
Perfect. We'll have that also on our Buzzsprout. So if you want to, check out Buzzsprout on our description page, it'll be there. And we will, if you're watching us on YouTube, I've had her address on the entire YouTube podcast. So make sure you write it down. I'm sorry.
It's on the blog too.
Oh, on the blog too. Thanks for the reminder. All
Yes.
right. We hope you all have a great day and check it all out. Bye.